What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation.
Hey guys, so Albie Shore's been talking a whole lot more, especially in light of Diddy being arrested and all of these months that he has been on lockdown, and now he's going up for trial. So we know currently they're having some issues with the jury selection, but I think they'll probably get all that ironed out this week and the trial will begin. The judge said they're not postponing the trial unless something major happens, I'm assuming. But I want to get into this because I don't know what you guys think, but when it comes to Albie Shore, I know that some things aren't really adding up. He was in a coma for a couple of months. He's saying that he believes that Diddy had something to do with it. But when it comes to all of the stuff, with his child Quincy, that I don't even think Quincy even claims him as his dad, but he is his biological father. I mean, shit, he looks exactly like Albie Shore. But Quincy sees Diddy as his father. We know his mom is no longer here, unfortunately. And the way things were set up, and then that book that came out that got shut down, it was up on Amazon for like a day, and then they took it down. And Kim's children were saying that is not, it has nothing to do with Kim. That's not her work. It's not something that was created because of recordings or manuscripts or whatever that she created. But I also said that I don't even know if they could really say that, because how would they really know? I mean, they are her children. I'm quite sure she didn't tell them everything. And based on some of the things that were in the book, I didn't have the book. I didn't read it. But I've spoken to a few people who did have the book, and based on things that they were saying that were in the book, it's sounding like some of that stuff might really be true. And some of the things that were in the book, it sounds like it may have actually been describing Albie, and that it's possible that Kim and Albie and Diddy may have had some physical interactions together at the same time, if you know what I mean. So let's get into this news clip. This is coming off of the Sandra Rose blog, and the news clip is from Fox 5, but it's by way of social media. So let's just go ahead and get into this.
There's no hustle. There's no marketing. I'm living my truth, and it's time.
So you were in that coma in 2022. You had the liver transplant, you had the tracheotomy, and all that stuff that went on.
Multi-system organ failure.
Yeah.
60.
Right. Have they figured out what happened yet?
We will.
No, I mean, have the doctors medically, like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Because you just collapsed, right?
Yeah. So, just mysteriously out of the blue, which we do talk about in the book.
Yes.
What that,
I want to get into
what that process is. But, so it's been quite a journey. And as I said, even as it relates to writing the book, I went through almost, more than a decade of being scrutinized and clowned by law enforcement, them telling me, you need some help. Sex trafficking? Really? What's wrong with you? No way. Not realizing that they were also working for the situation.
So he's saying that law enforcement was, and that's not hard to believe. I mean, based on the things that we've been hearing coming out, it's not hard to believe that they were in his pockets, right? But is it possible that Albie was in Diddy's pockets at some point too? Because I never could understand the situation with him being alive and allegedly well and not being a part of his son's life. I never understood that.
you were hinting, saying,
posting.
Yeah.
I get calls, take it down or else, so on and so forth.
but this is about Diddy. So let's be clear for everybody that
this is
doesn't
about
know.
Diddy, who's about to, his trial's
It
about
starts on
to
Monday.
start. Yeah,
Yes.
they're selecting a jury.
But you were on this train years ago.
Yes, many, many years ago, I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand
because
why.
of Diddy.
Just say it. I mean, I don't know.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, all having a great time, and I'm, grabbing Sean like, "What?" And she's in the back going, "Stop,"
See, like, it's stuff like that, because it's like, when you see these images of them all together, and I get it, it's just a picture. But what is the saying? Pictures like speak 1,000 words or something like that. I'm just saying, it's like, even though we know he's a monster, I'm saying all of the years, your son here that looks like your twin, you have been okay with this monster having a connection, close relationship, to the point where he's calling him daddy while you are alive and well. It just makes me feel like he was possibly a financial beneficiary of this monster too. Because yeah, we knew about Albie Shore before we knew about Diddy as a, recording artist over the years. But we know he wasn't making money like that. Like, what really has Albie been doing over the years to really make it? And I don't know how he's been living, so I'm not trying to get into all of that either. But I'm just finding it hard to believe that you were okay with this monster calling your son, and your son calling this monster daddy, and you were not financially benefiting from the situation as well. It's like I'm saying, I'm just wondering.
So it was a really festive opportunity just for all of us to be together, because it's nothing like the circus that's out here. So it was a lot of stuff, came to surprise, but
Even like his how do him sitting here and chatting with these people. I'm not saying he needs to be on here yelling and angry or whatever, but he's like smiling. He seems happy, and I'm sure he's happy to be alive, because he was in a coma for a couple of months, and he's had, like, I guess, a long recuperating situation after the fact. But I know people that have wronged me in life, and I'm not, when I'm talking about them, if I'm talking about them, I'm not sitting and smiling as I'm talking about them. And I didn't go through anything like he went through.
a lot of this stuff will be revealed and that's why I thought it would be a good idea to finally tell my story. Every network came to me, participate and so on and so, but I said, listen, I have no interest in speaking about another man.
But you are in the book.
Yeah, right. But
Okay, he says he's speaking about him in the book, but he was on the documentary that was done on Peacock. I can't remember the name of it now. I watched it once. I think it was maybe like 2 parts or something like that, but he was speaking in that documentary. So for him to say that he has no interest in speaking about him, it's like, well, one, you're talking about him right now on this news station, but he did speak about him in the documentary that was done on Peacock.
But this, I will speak about where our paths cross and what's most relevant, and something I've been trying to say for many, many years. And unfortunately, Roseanne, even with Sean being incarcerated, that's not a celebration. There's no celebration in it. First and foremost, there's way too much collateral damage, and in many, many ways. Many people's lives are affected. And in fact, a genre of music that I grew up in is ruined right now.
You blaming Diddy for that?
I'm blaming this entire industry and the way it's gone. And, there's no one person that's in charge, but this level and this magnitude of a story.
This drawing is diabolical. I'm sorry. Every time I see a court drawing, a rendering of what he what he looks like now, or the AI images, it's like, oh my God.
Of detriment, of diabolical, just heinous, whatever's really going on. It's unfortunate. Because
Is Diddy suing you or threatening to sue you?
no,
No?
Look at this. They have him turning around looking at the this was crazy.
I have the truth.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. And again, there's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And
So
the
let me
only
ask-
reason I wanted to tell the story.
But let's be honest, it is a little bit of marketing for you for sure. Don't say it's not marketing. It's marketing too. Marketing in addition to.
Kurt was very specifically because I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down. If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive. There's no.
So yeah, I mean, she asked a legitimate question, but listen, I don't know. Um this is a lot. I just have questions when it comes to Albie Shore. I'm not saying that he may not be on to something, especially when it comes to Kim and her unfortunate passing and the things that happened to him and him being in a coma for 2 months. That is nothing small. So I'm not talking about these things to make light of his situation, to make light of his feelings about Kim, and he, feels that she was taken out and it has something to do with Diddy and also with him and his health and what he experienced. But I just have questions when it comes to this. I'm just it's weird. And then, he says Kim kind of warned me along the way to watch your back. And then in that book, it's alleging that Diddy was watching his back. Not Diddy watching his own back, but Diddy was watching his back while those three were doing things together. That's what's been alleged in the book. And I'm not going to say that it's true, but I'm also not going to say that it's a lie, because I just wonder when it comes to that relationship and what have you been doing over all these years, and this monster is taking care of your son, was he also taking care of you financially? Is something that a lot of people really want to know. I question it. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know, guys. I don't want any harm to come to him. I'm not on Diddy's side. I'm not trying to root for him to win this trial or anything like that. But when it comes to Albie Shore and how he's been living these years with knowing his son, yeah, his son was with the mother, but it's weird to have the child that you created calling someone else dad and really rooting for and repping that person more than you. And then now it's like all of these things are coming out. I'm sorry. I just feel like in some way Albie Shore was financially benefiting for years, because I haven't seen him do anything else besides his music from the 80s. And I'm not even trying to be funny, I'm just being honest. I haven't seen him do anything else besides his music from the 80s other than being on a reality show that Omarosa did with Donald Trump. Do you remember that reality show that she did back in the day called The Ultimate Merger? He was one of the contestants on that show. And I was trying to find clips of it. I couldn't really find any clips of it, but you can see some of the images here where he's at. It says Omarosa Stallworth and Al B. Shore. It's in The Ultimate Merger. The Here's a picture of the two of them together, and she's with some of the other contestants and some of the guests at the screening. Here's this creep, 45 size 47, with his contestant Melania. But anyway, this isn't about them. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, he's out here talking, and I wish him nothing but the best. I hope his health continues to go on the upward, and I hope that he has protection. Hope the angels and the blood of Jesus covers him, because like that woman asked him in that sit down news interview, are you afraid that anything could possibly happen to you just because he's locked up? So listen, guys, I want to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.